In a devastating blow to Toyota's advertising efforts, the Advertising Standards Agency has banned one of its car adverts as a result of a single complaint. So in this video, I'd like to show you the video so we can discuss it and think of the reasoning why it was banned. But it's not an advert, remember, so you mustn't share it and you mustn't view it as an advert. Now, it's just a video now because it's been banned. So without further ado, let's take a look at the video. Then we'll take a look at the complaint. And as I say, the complaint, because there was but a single complaint. And we'll have a look and see whether we think there's any merit in that. I'll give you my views. You're welcome to your own views. You may agree with the complaint. You may disagree with the complaints. That's entirely up to you, and you can leave your comments below. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the video. Remember, it's not an advert, but let's take a look. Looks pretty similar to other car adverts at this stage. Off-road, on-road.
One of nature's true spectacles. New Toyota Hilux. Born to roam.
So that's quite an interesting play on words, really. One of nature's true spectacles, obviously referring to the fact that it's shown a lot of nature in the video, but also the creation of a vehicle, and it's a play on words. So it's obviously suggesting that the vehicle is one of nature's true spectacles, but also showing it in the true spectacle of nature. So interesting play on words. And the final caption, born to roam. Obviously a play on words. The fact that it was going through mountainous areas, then open off-road plains, then back on the road all the way home. So born to roam, obviously born, created, the vehicle's created to be on-road, off-road, all sorts of different terrain, all the way back home. That's the way that I saw the advert. My first impressions were exactly those. But as I say, as a result of the complaint, this advert was banned. So obviously don't share this with anybody because it's banned now. So, but without further ado, let's take a look at the complaint itself. Now, the complaint to the Advertising Standards Agency was by Ad-Free Cities, which a little cursory research later discovered that it was run by about 6 people. But nonetheless, let's take a look. So the description of the advert, first of all, the Facebook post stated, "From active traction control to hill start assist, Toyota Hilux born to roam." An accompanying video showed a wide open plain with mountains either side. A swarm was depicted from a distance moving across the plain, causing dust to rise, much like many other car adverts, to be quite frank. A number of SUVs, sports utility vehicles, were then shown moving across the landscape in unison before joining a tarmacked road. A voiceover said, "One of nature's true spectacles." The vehicles were then shown on the road side by side and driving through a built-up city area, with a single vehicle then shown reversing up a driveway. The voiceover continued, "Toyota Hilux, born to roam." A final shot showed the car parked in the rocky natural environment. And then obviously the web address and so on. B, the poster, seen at a bus stop, heaven forfend there'd be an advert at a bus stop, stated "born to roam." An image shown 2 SUVs driving on rocky incline in a savanna-style landscape. Around 50 identical SUVs appeared in a large pack on a hilly background. The issue. Now we get to the nub of the problem here. The issue. Ad-free cities who believed the ad's condoned behaviour was harmful to the environment, challenged whether they were irresponsible. Now, let's go back to the video for a moment. So they challenge the nature of the video to say that it's harmful for the environment. Presumably, they say that because they're driving, causing dust to rise, driving over open terrain, and maybe driving in a swarm altogether, as opposed to what, other queues of traffic? I mean, if these are roads, I suppose you'll find cars on the roads. You may not always find a swarm of vehicles like this on open terrain, granted, but remembering that these kind of videos and adverts, although this is not an advert anymore, obviously, but these kind of videos, adverts are usually targeting people that need a vehicle for a specific reason. So in the response, Toyota explained that they are committed to positive environmental change and have introduced several hybrid and electric vehicles across the range since 1997, which I commend. I drive a Tesla. In addition, they've granted hundreds of royalty-free licenses for the use of their hybrid technology. That's fantastic. I applaud that. All of which demonstrated the importance that they've gave to environmental responsibility. They, Toyota, say the ads had been through a thorough checking process for both technical capability claims and wider generic claims for the vehicle and the brand. Regarding the first ad, they say the footage of the vehicles off-road was minimal, and when they appeared, they were never in an environment which was ecologically sensitive or habitat with wildlife. That appears to be the case to me. Moving back to the video, not an advert, remember. This is obviously, it appears to be away from the majority of wildlife, and doubtless it would have been sufficient just to have one quick shot of that. I don't know, I'm not a film expert, but it's not a very long clip, so I can say that. I agree with that bit, first of all. So they've been through a checking process. Further to that, the terrains depicted in the ads were all areas which the vehicle was designed. The Hilux was meant for the toughest environments, and certain industries had a genuine need for off-road, which included specialist workers, such as farmers, forestry workers, and park rangers. Well, that was my point and my initial reaction, that these vehicles are designed for and targeted to a certain demographic that have a need for those vehicles. I don't personally have a need for that type of vehicle, unless I was going on, such a trip or whatever that required it. But so I'm not their target demographic. But some people are. A lot of people are farmers. They need this sort of vehicle. They're forestry workers, and they do need those kind of vehicles. They said that they're entitled to advertise to those markets and should be allowed to depict suitable off-road environments. So, in other words, if they were to target me with these adverts, it's not an advert anymore, by the way, but if they were to target me with this, it's probably not going to be necessary for me, because I'm not the target market. I'm neither a farmer nor a forestry worker or anything else. If my life took a different turn, then perhaps it would. So in that sense, that stands to reason that they are entitled to market to the people that are likely to buy them. That, at least, I agree with. To demonstrate the off-road capabilities of the vehicle. However, they stated that they should be allowed to do that in a way that was not restrictive and did not involve depicting a specialized worker, character, or scenario in the ads. In other words, they shouldn't have to just show it on a farm. Now, I agree with that, because showing someone on a farm is, very specific, or even showing a forestry worker is very specific. Clearly, these adverts, this is not an advert anymore, obviously, but clearly these adverts are designed to show what the vehicle is capable of in certain environments. Therefore, the people that need it for those type of environments, albeit on their farm and forestry work and so on, they would obviously be attracted to this type of vehicle. They further state that if the ads were able to show the cars on racetracks or circuits, then off-road environments should also be permissible. Fair enough. And their response goes on. The assessment, however, was upheld. Marketing communications must be prepared with a sense of responsibility to consumers and to society. The Advertising Standards Agency acknowledged Toyota's comments that the sheer volume of cars in the ads would lead viewers to interpret the scenes as fantastical and not as portrayal of real-world driving. But I don't think anyone really anticipates getting together with a whole group of other people to drive the same vehicle across the terrain like that. It's just an advert. Oh, well, it's not an advert anymore. It was just an advert. I think with a bit of sensibility, I don't think anyone realistically expects, let's just read that again, the sheer volume would lead viewers to interpret the scenes as fantastical and not as portraying real-world driving. So, is it supposed to be misleading that people don't normally do this? I mean, there's a lot of things in adverts that people don't normally do. It's just an advert. Obviously, this isn't an advert anymore, but Ad A initially presented a large volume of cars in a rural setting, seen from a distance, all moving as one on an open landscape, in a manner that some viewers might infer as analogous to a herd of animals and therefore might be viewed as fantastical. Really? I don't see that. I mean, no disrespect, but I don't agree with that. I mean, it's vaguely resemblance of a herd of animals moving across landscape, but it's quite clear that they're not animals. So I get the play on words, one of nature's true spectacles, and that it resembles a herd of animals, but I just don't get that people would genuinely view the vehicles as analogous to a herd of animals and leading to it being fantastical. Anyway, we carry on. However, the scenes that followed show a much smaller number of cars close up driving realistically at speed across an untarmacked off-road landscape, including across a river. Toyota explained that some of the rural scenes were on road and unpaved tracks. However, that was not clear in the ad. Really? I thought it was. A smaller number of cars at close-up, driving realistically at speed across an untarmacked off-road landscape, including across a river. Toyota explained that some of the rural scenes in Ad A were on roads or unpaved tracks. However, that was not clear in the ad. Yes, it was. It's exactly what we saw. We saw the vehicles. Moving back to the video, we saw the vehicles. It's not an advert, remember. We saw the vehicles, first of all, going off this off-road through a river here. Then we've got a track here, which is an unpaved track. It's quite clear. This is like an off-road road, if you like. It's an unpaved off-road road, and then onto a tarmacked road. And that's really it. And then they're in the city. That's all you see. Then is at home. So, mountainous area. So, okay, I mean, I get that the initial analogous to a herd of animals, but people don't genuinely, surely, let me know in the comments, surely don't genuinely see this as fantastical and genuinely analogous to a herd of animals moving through. Is a vague resemblance, I'll give you that. But then this is definitely an off-road track, and this is definitely a paved tarmac. So moving back to the complaint, single complaint, remember, they say it wasn't clear in the ad. I don't agree, with all respect. The emphasis of the ads was on the off-road settings displayed, and the vehicle's movements without restriction was highlighted by the messaging, one of nature's true spectacles, born to roam. Well, yes, a play on words in that born to roam, it was made for those environments, surely. And if there was any analogy to a herd of animals, it's not fantastical, because what it is saying is that animals obviously run through the natural environment. This vehicle is made to be able to drive through that environment where it's necessary, such as mountaineering, on safari, forestry work, farm work, whatever. It's born to roam. It's a play on words. It is made to roam, to be able to drive. That's quite clear to me, at least. Let me know in the comments what you think. Anyway, it goes on. The vehicles traveled across unmarked. The vehicles in Ad A traveled across untarmacked plains and through rivers with dust and visibly disturbed. In B, that's the poster at the bus stop. The main vehicle appeared on a rocky slope, another in the background, as seen in advert A. While we acknowledged Toyota's point that they were in part targeting specialized vehicle users such as farmers and forestry workers who might legitimately need to use vehicles in rural or off-road environments, those scenarios were not represented in the ad. Well, okay, so they didn't show them on a farm. They didn't show them chopping wood in a forest. But that doesn't make any difference. Surely that doesn't make any difference. So they say those were not represented in the ad, which included driving by unidentifiable categories of vehicle users in both rural and urban environments. We therefore consider that the impression given by the driving scenes and messaging in both ads was one of driving regardless of its purpose. So they say that because the vehicles were seen driving in multiple different environments, they conclude that the ad is showing people driving regardless of purpose. No, I don't agree, because so many different car adverts have shown vehicles driving in different environments to show that they can drive in different environments. That doesn't mean that it's advertising and condoning driving regardless of purpose, which is what this suggests as one of the reasons that this has been banned. Across off-road environments and natural ecosystems which had no regard for the environment impact of such driving. Again, it's making a leap here to say that because it's showing these vehicles driving in those environments, that they have no regard for the environmental impact. Well, considering Toyota has heavily invested in hybrid technology, in fact, this article dated whenever, December 2022, outlines what they've invested, £70 million in Poland, in a European centre for the production of hybrid electric transmission, including motor generators and electrical components. So Toyota are clearly heavily invested in hybrid technology, which is obviously to support the environment. But back to the complaint here. The ads presented and condoned the use of vehicles in a manner that disregarded the impact on nature and the environment. As a result, they had not been prepared with a sense of responsibility to society. The ads breached the advertising code. And then, as an action, the ad must not appear again in the form complained of. As an advert, you understand, I'm perfectly entitled to show you the video here and explain why it's been banned as an advert. To ensure the future marketing communications contained nothing that was likely to encourage irresponsible behavior towards the environment. So just to be absolutely clear, this video is in no way sponsored. It's in no way affiliated. I've not been asked to make this video. I've not been asked to talk about it. These are entirely my own views. I'm going through the complaint here. With all respect to the Advertising Standards Authority, they have banned this video from being an advert. With the utmost respect, I disagree with that decision because to me, I get the point that there's a lot of vehicles driving through a natural environment. And the argument that they make is that there are so many vehicles driving all at once through this natural environment. I see the point, to be fair. I do see the point that there's a lot of vehicles driving through, and that on one very uncharitable interpretation of the video, you might say that's not too great because there's a lot of vehicles driving through a natural environment. But this is in no reasonable objective interpretation, in my view, is no way to suggest that this is a normal, regular occurrence for hundreds of people to drive this vehicle or any vehicle like this through terrain and areas like this. And I don't even know if that actually happens, whether people genuinely do that or not. I don't know. Whether it's on safari, whether you get dozens of vehicles like this together, or it's one or two vehicles, as I usually see it depicted in videos. But either way, this is a banned advert. And for anyone that is looking for those kind of vehicles, they now cannot see this advert, so they will have to find another way of either tweaking the advert or whatever. But obviously, to make an advert stand out, it has to attract attention. And so if they showed one vehicle driving through that environment, it would show that the vehicle can do that, but it doesn't have the same impact as having a whole group of them. And it doesn't have the same play on words, which was the born to roam, which is obviously animals born to roam. The vehicle's made to be able to roam through that environment because some people do need a vehicle that can drive through that environment. All the same. So all joking aside, I understand why it was banned. I understand the complaint. I understand the principles behind it. Now, please don't think that because I disagree with this decision that I somehow don't care about the environment. I am with Octopus Energy, which has a very strong focus on green power. I have solar panels. I have a Tesla, which is obviously green, usually powered by the solar panels. And I avoid unnecessary travel and so on and so forth. So I do have a consideration for the environment. I just don't think that this advert completely disregards the impact on nature as it was upheld in this decision. But that's just my view. Please do leave me your thoughts and comments in the box below. But I thought you'd find that interesting as to how one advert, which they obviously put a lot of effort into, has now been banned. But I hope you found that interesting. Please do remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.